One of the most promising young basketball stars in the nation was just pulled from a burning Tesla Cybertruck. Now, he's out of a coma and the world wants answers. What really happened to Alijah Arenas? Alijah Arenas wasn't just another high school athlete. He was the name dominating highlight reels, outpacing his peers and carrying the legacy of his father, former NBA All-Star Gilbert Arenas. He had just committed to us as a 5-star recruit, and the basketball world had their eyes locked on him. But then, on a quiet April morning in Reseda, California, everything changed. A Tesla Cybertruck mangled, flames lit up the street, a young star unresponsive. And just like that, the future of USC basketball was hanging by a thread. Today, we're diving into the full story, the shocking crash, the miracle recovery, and what this means for one of the brightest prospects in the country. Stay with us, you won't to miss what happened next. Before the crash, Alijah Arenas was already being talked about as a future NBA lottery pick. At just 17 years old, he was lighting up the court at Chatsworth High School, averaging over 29 points per game and turning heads with his speed, shooting, and raw IQ. But this wasn't just about numbers. He carried the Arenas name with pride. His father Gilbert made headlines throughout the 2010s with the Washington Wizards, and Alijah was determined to write his own chapter starting at USC. In January 2025, he committed early, reclassifying into the 2025 class to fast-track his rise. Everything was moving fast, too fast maybe. On the morning of April 24, 2025, tragedy nearly struck. Around 4 a.m., Alijah was behind the wheel of a Tesla Cybertruck when the vehicle veered off the road in Reseda. It struck a tree and then a fire hydrant with such force that the Cybertruck ignited almost immediately. Images from the scene were horrifying, the truck completely totaled, smoke billowing into the sky. Witnesses described the fire as explosive. The vehicle was engulfed, but miraculously, bystanders rushed in and pulled Alijah from the flames before first responders arrived. He wasn't conscious. He wasn't moving. His future was suddenly uncertain. But here's the twist: Alijah didn't suffer any major broken bones, so why did doctors have to put him into a medically induced coma? What they discovered next might just be the scariest part of this entire story. Though he escaped the wreck with no significant external injuries, Alijah had suffered severe smoke inhalation. The smoke damage was so critical that doctors placed him into a medically induced coma to stabilize his breathing and brain function. For several days, he lay unresponsive in the hospital, his family, friends, teammates, and fans anxiously awaiting updates. What made the situation even more heart-wrenching was how quickly everything had spiraled. One moment, Alijah was preparing for college ball. The next, he was fighting for his life in silence. The basketball world rallied. Messages of support poured in. Magic Johnson, Angel Reese, fans across the country all sending their prayers. But behind the scenes, it was Gilbert Arenas who remained strong for his son, refusing to lose hope. Then came the update everyone was hoping for. On April 28, just 4 days after the crash, TMZ broke the story that Alijah was awake, walking, and talking. The news sent waves across the sports world. But perhaps the most telling moment. One of the first things Alijah wrote when he woke up was, "Did anyone get hurt?" That single sentence spoke volumes about his character. He had just survived a blazing crash and come out of a coma, and his first thought was for others. Doctors confirmed he had no life-threatening injuries. His lungs would take time to heal, but the worst had passed. After 6 days in the hospital, he was released. But while Alijah physically walked out of that hospital, the emotional toll remains. Imagine having your life and your dreams flash before your eyes in an instant. For a 17-year-old with the world watching, that's a weight few can carry. So what now for Alijah Arenas? The road ahead won't be easy, not by a long shot. Alijah Arenas is staring down a mountain that few athletes ever have to climb, one that begins not in the weight room or on the court, but in a hospital bed, where every small movement is a battle and every step forward is a victory. This isn't just about rehab or rebuilding strength. It's about facing trauma, physical, emotional, and psychological. It's about learning to trust your body again after it betrayed you in the most violent way. About standing on shaky legs and wondering if you'll ever run the same, jump the same, compete the same. And beyond all of that, it's about the mental war, the fear, the doubt, the haunting images that no one else can see. Getting back on the court after something like this takes more than elite conditioning or medical clearance. It takes unshakable resolve, the kind forged through pain, fear, and a sheer refusal to give up. It takes a tribe family, teammates, doctors, mentors rallying behind you when your spirit starts to crack. And most of all, it takes a will that can't be taught, a fire that can't be extinguished. From everything we've seen in these past few days, it's clear that Alijah has all of that and more. He's already walking, already talking, already pushing towards something bigger than the accident that tried to steal it all away. This wasn't just a near-death experience. This was a hard reset in life, a moment that fractures time into before and after. And yet, instead of fading into the background or retreating in fear, Alijah is looking forward, not with pity but with purpose. Not as a victim, but as someone who understands just how fragile greatness can be, and how precious it is to even have a tomorrow.
Get the attention you deserve with a custom neon sign. We offer handmade neon signs. Our process is simple. Visit our website, glonio.com, and click Custom Neon Builder for an on-demand experience. Start typing your custom text, choose a font, color, and size. We will handle the rest by handcrafting your LED neon. We also produce high-quality neons to match your business logo by completing the form on our Business Neons page.
This incident isn't just about a car crash, it's a reminder of how abruptly life can veer off course, even for those with seemingly limitless potential. One moment, Alijah was preparing for elite college basketball, his future laid out like a highlight reel waiting to happen. The next, he was fighting to breathe, caught in a life-or-death moment that no training or coaching could have prepared him for. It forces us to confront a harsh truth: even the most gifted athletes, the ones who soar above the rim, dominate the stat sheets, and inspire the next generation, aren't immune to life's cruel twists. Strength, speed, talent, none of it matters when tragedy hits. What does matter is what you do after, how you respond, who you become. And, in Alijah's case, the story has shifted. He's no longer just Gilbert Arenas' son, no longer just the five-star phenom bound for USC. His name now represents more than basketball, it represents survival, courage, and a second chance. His journey is beginning to resemble those of other athletes who faced devastating setbacks. Kevin Ware, whose gruesome injuries shook the nation. Paul George, who clawed his way back to become an NBA All-Star again. Derrick Rose, whose resilience became a symbol of perseverance. But what Alijah went through wasn't just physical, it was spiritual, existential. To be pulled unconscious from a burning vehicle, placed into a coma, and then walk out of the hospital just days later. That's not just a comeback, it's a miracle. And maybe, just maybe, this brush with death gave him something no coach, trainer, or scout ever could: perspective. A deeper understanding of life, of fragility, of what really matters beyond the game. The investigation into what caused the crash is still ongoing. Authorities are piecing together details, from speed and impact to environmental factors. But for Alijah, and for those who love him, the cause matters less than the outcome. He's alive, he's healing, and he's still standing. There's still a long road ahead. The physical recovery is one thing, but the emotional scars may linger longer. And whether or not he returns to hardwood this season, or next, or ever, that's secondary to what he's already proven. Alijah Arenas is built for more than just basketball. He's built for adversity, for pressure, for pain. He's built for life's hardest moments. And now, he gets to choose how the next chapter of his story is written. One thing is certain: this comeback won't be measured in points per game or college accolades. It'll be measured in the heart, and if we know anything about Alijah, he's got plenty of that. If this story inspired you, drop a comment below with your thoughts or a message for Alijah. What moments stood out to you most? And don't forget, subscribe to the channel for more real stories from the world of basketball that go beyond the court. Like this video, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and we'll see you next time.